Have you ever noticed how quickly someone's behavior changes when they sense you pulling away? One moment, they seem distant and uninterested. The next, they're desperate to reconnect. It's confusing, isn't it? You find yourself wondering what went wrong. But here's the truth. It's not about what you did wrong. It's about what they didn't appreciate until now. Welcome to a journey of transformation and self-discovery. Today, we'll explore why people get desperate when they realize they've lost your interest and how you can take back control with poise and confidence. Through the lens of Stoicism, you'll learn to master your emotions, command respect, and step into your power without compromising your values. Your silence will echo louder than their words. When you step back, you create a void. Suddenly, your absence is all they can think about. It's like a steady drumbeat that suddenly stops, leaving them in a disorienting silence. People often don't realize the value of your attention until it's no longer there, and that realization can spark desperation. Think of it like a flame. While it burns, it lights up the room, creating warmth and comfort. But when it's gone, the chill sets in, and those who depended on its glow feel the loss deeply. That's the power of your presence. And when you learn to control it, you unlock an inner strength that no one can take from you. The beauty of Stoicism is that it teaches you to focus on what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. By choosing to walk away with grace, you send a powerful message. I know my worth. That quiet confidence is magnetic. It shifts the dynamics of any relationship and reminds others that your time and energy are privileges, not guarantees. When you stop chasing, you stop settling. You stop seeking approval from those who fail to recognize your value. And the irony? The moment you step back, they start chasing you. Why? Because confidence is captivating, independence is alluring, and the ability to let go without bitterness is a rare and powerful strength. But this isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about embracing your value and refusing to compromise it for anyone. It's about becoming the calm in the storm, the steady river that flows regardless of who's watching. It's about embodying the essence of Stoicism: resilience, composure, and unwavering self-worth. Here's what I want you to do. Watch this video until the end, because I'll share a single powerful question that will reveal whether someone truly values you, or if they're just trying to fill the void your absence created. This question could change how you see yourself and your relationships forever. Now, take a moment to affirm your worth. Comment below, I know my worth. Let this be your declaration, not just to others, but to yourself. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss empowering content like this. Your story could inspire someone else on their journey, so share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Let's dive in and rediscover the power of knowing your value, because when you truly embrace it, you'll see how effortlessly the world starts chasing you. Number 1. The art of emotional restraint. When it comes to matters of the heart, revealing too much too soon is like laying all your cards on the table in a high-stakes poker game. Once your hand is visible, the mystery vanishes, and with it, your edge. Stoicism teaches us that control over our emotions is the key to maintaining power, not over others, but over ourselves. And in relationships, this mastery can change everything. One of the most common traps people fall into is believing that full transparency of their emotions will make them more attractive. After all, we're often told honesty is the best policy, right? But there's a difference between honesty and overexposure. While truth builds trust, Excessive emotional display diminishes intrigue. It's like a magician explaining their tricks. Once the wonder is gone, the audience loses interest. Let's consider this. Why are challenges so captivating? Why do we value what isn't easily attained? The answer lies in human psychology. People crave what feels elusive and value what requires effort. When you pour your heart out at every opportunity, you take away the mystery that keeps someone engaged. Predictability becomes your undoing, and instead of being a dynamic, intriguing figure, you risk being seen as just another open book, easily read and soon forgotten. Stoicism reminds us of Marcus Aurelius's words, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you openly broadcast your emotions, you surrender this power. You let your feelings dictate the flow of the relationship, giving away control not just of your actions, but of how others perceive you. By holding back, you shift the dynamic. You become a steady flame rather than a flickering candle, unshaken by the winds of external circumstances. Now, you might wonder, does this mean you have to be cold or distant? Absolutely not. Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions to the point of indifference. Instead, it's about expressing them with intention and restraint. Think of it as the difference between a dam that channels a river's force and a flood that rushes uncontrollably. Both involve water, but one wields it with precision and purpose. Here's another way to think of it. Imagine a chessboard. Each move you make reveals a part of your strategy, but the key to winning lies in the moves you don't make, the secrets you keep until the right moment. Similarly, when you don't lay your emotions bare, you create an aura of unpredictability. And unpredictability is magnetic. It makes others lean in, curious to uncover what lies beneath the surface. This is where the power dynamic begins to shift. When you stop being so readily available, so eager to please, they start to feel the imbalance. It's human nature to chase what feels just out of reach. This doesn't mean playing games or manipulating feelings. It means knowing your worth and allowing others to see it in your actions, not your over-explanations. If you've ever thought, won't they lose interest if I don't show how much I care? Consider this. Genuine interest doesn't fade because of restraint. It grows. When someone doesn't have instant access to your emotions, they start to think about you more. They wonder what you're feeling, why you're holding back, and what they need to do to bridge the gap. This curiosity plants the seed of desire, and in time, that seed grows into respect and admiration. As Epictetus said, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By mastering your emotional responses, you elevate yourself. You go from being predictable to being a challenge. And challenges aren't just intriguing, they're unforgettable. They make people work harder, value more, and appreciate deeply. So, keep your cards close to your chest. Let your feelings simmer beneath the surface, revealed only when they serve a purpose. Not only will you command respect, but you'll also become someone worth pursuing, someone they can't help but want to earn. In a world full of open books, be the locked journal they can't put down. Number 2. Let them feel the void. Why desperation is your worst enemy. Desperation, it's like quicksand for the soul. The more you flail, the deeper you sink. When someone grows distant or starts treating you poorly, your instinct might scream at you to chase them, to plead for answers, to do whatever it takes to pull them back. But let me ask you this. When did giving up your dignity ever bring you the respect you deserve? Stoicism offers a timeless truth here. Desperation is surrender. It's handing over all your power and saying, "I'll trade my self-worth for your attention." Imagine a person clinging to a sinking raft in a vast ocean, begging the waves for mercy. That's what desperation looks like to the one you're chasing. They don't see your effort as noble, they see it as weakness. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have to assemble your life action by action, and be satisfied if each one achieves its goal as far as possible, and no one can keep you from this." When you act out of desperation, you abandon this control over your own life. You let someone else's approval dictate your worth, and in doing so, you tell them that they are the only source of your happiness. Let's break this down with a metaphor. Think of a flame. If you smother it with too much fuel, it doesn't burn brighter, it suffocates and dies. That's what happens when you flood someone with desperation. Instead of reigniting their interest, you extinguish the spark entirely. But here's the thing, walking away doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're stepping into your power. It's not about playing games or pretending to care less than you do. It's about choosing to value yourself above all else. If they don't see your worth, it's their loss, not yours. Your time, energy, and emotions are treasures, and you shouldn't squander them on someone who treats them as disposable. At this point, you might wonder, but if I don't chase them, won't they just move on? The answer is simple. If someone values you, they won't need to be chased. And if they don't, then why waste your time? As Epictetus said, "Curb your desire. Don't set your heart on so many things, and you will get what you need." When you stop chasing, something remarkable happens. You create space, a void they can feel. Suddenly, the power dynamic shifts. They realize the attention they once took for granted is no longer guaranteed. That void becomes a mirror, reflecting their own behavior back at them. They start to question their actions and often their assumptions about you. What was once passive and predictable now feels like a mystery they need to solve. Imagine a pendulum. When you pull away, you allow it to swing back naturally. But if you keep pushing it forward, forcing its motion, it only resists. By stepping back, you let them feel the natural consequences of their distance. It's not manipulation, it's balance. And in that balance, respect is born. Here's the truth. Desperation is not love. It's fear. It's the fear of being alone, of not being enough, of losing something you think you need. But Stoicism teaches us that you are enough, no matter who stays or leaves. You are whole, even when the world around you feels fragmented. As Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Free yourself from the chains of neediness, and you'll find a strength you never knew you had. The next time someone distances themselves, don't panic. Let them feel the void. Let them wonder why the power they once held over you has vanished. And let them decide if they're willing to put in the effort to earn your attention again. Because here's the secret. When you value yourself, others will follow suit. And if they don't, you'll walk away with your dignity intact and your confidence unshaken. That's the real power of Stoicism. Freedom through self-respect. Let them feel the void, and you'll discover the strength that comes from standing tall, even when the world tries to pull you down. Number 3. The power of distance. Why absence makes the heart grow fonder. Have you ever noticed how the most valuable things in life are never the ones easily within reach? Diamonds are buried deep within the earth, treasures are locked away, and even the stars demand the vastness of the night sky to be admired. This principle of scarcity applies not just to objects of desire, but to human connections as well. The art of being occasionally unreachable is not a game. It's a declaration of self-worth. Stoicism teaches us that our time and attention are among our most precious resources. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." In other words, live intentionally and spend your time on pursuits that matter. Constant availability not only cheapens your value, but also suggests that you have little else of importance in your life. And nothing is less attractive than someone who seems to exist solely to fill another person's needs. When you're always available, you risk becoming like air, essential, yes, but unnoticed. Familiarity breeds complacency, and constant accessibility robs you of the mystery that fuels intrigue. Think of the ocean's tides. Their constant ebb and flow make them captivating. If the waters were still, they'd lose their power to mesmerize. The same applies to relationships. Absence, when done with purpose, is a catalyst for desire. Now you might ask, does this mean I should ignore them? Won't they lose interest if I pull away too much? Here's where Stoicism offers clarity. This isn't about being dismissive or aloof. It's about maintaining balance and showing that your life is full and meaningful beyond any one person's presence. As Epictetus said, know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly. When you live a life rich with purpose and direction, your occasional unavailability is a natural byproduct, not a forced tactic. Imagine this scenario. They text, and instead of dropping everything to reply immediately, you take your time. Not out of manipulation, but because you're genuinely engaged in something that matters to you. Or perhaps they suggest a meetup, and instead of rearranging your schedule, you politely decline because you've already made plans. These small acts send a powerful message. You are someone with priorities, someone who values their own time, someone who cannot be taken for granted. Here's a metaphor to consider. A flame burns brightest when it has air to breathe. When you constantly smother it with fuel, the fire weakens and may even go out. By giving space, you allow the flame of intrigue to grow stronger. This doesn't mean playing hard to get. It means being someone whose attention is earned, not expected. At this point you might think, but won't they feel neglected? What if they stop trying altogether? Here's the truth. People value what they have to work for. If someone is truly interested in you, your occasional unavailability won't deter them. It will motivate them. They'll begin to appreciate the moments they do have with you, and that scarcity will make your presence all the more meaningful. When you step back, you create a shift. The once predictable person who was always within reach now becomes someone worth pursuing. They start to wonder, why aren't they as available as before? What's changed? This curiosity can spark a deeper appreciation for your value. It's not about manipulation. It's about embodying the Stoic principle of self-respect. The things we cherish most are the ones we believe we could lose. By embracing this truth, you align yourself with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. You're not just maintaining your dignity, you're teaching others to value it too. If this resonates with you, drop a comment below and type "Be hard to get" as a reminder to yourself and others of the power of self-worth. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay connected to more transformative content. Remember, the most valuable treasures are those that aren't always within reach. Let yourself be one of them. Number 4. Let your actions speak. A life beyond their approval. Have you ever seen a bird sitting on a wire after its flock has flown away? It doesn't wait indefinitely, staring into the distance, hoping they'll return. It spreads its wings and flies toward new horizons. That bird instinctively understands a truth that many of us forget. Life moves forward, and waiting for someone who doesn't value your presence is like grounding yourself when you're meant to soar. When someone pulls away, it's tempting to put your life on hold, hoping they'll notice the void and come running back. But in doing so, you unknowingly diminish your worth. By standing still, you send a silent message that your happiness, your progress, and even your identity are tied to their choices. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And thoughts rooted in waiting and passivity don't lead to fulfillment. They lead to stagnation. Imagine a river that stops flowing, waiting for someone to admire it. Over time, it becomes still, murky, and lifeless. But a river that continues to flow remains vibrant and full of energy. It carves new paths, nourishes new landscapes, and becomes something others are drawn to. The same is true for your life. When you stop moving forward, you lose the vibrancy that makes you magnetic. But when you embrace progress, exploring new interests, meeting new people, and engaging in meaningful experiences, you become like that flowing river, full of purpose and energy. Now, you might wonder, but won't they see this as me trying to make them jealous? The answer lies in your intent. This isn't about manipulation or trying to provoke a reaction. It's about reclaiming your life and showing that your value doesn't hinge on their presence. When you actively pursue your passions and surround yourself with others who appreciate you, you're not playing games, you're living authentically. Picture a thriving garden, lush and vibrant. It doesn't beg the rain to fall or the sun to shine. It flourishes regardless, drawing admiration because of its beauty and strength. Your life should be that garden, abundant and fulfilling, not dependent on someone else's approval to grow. Here's where the Stoic mindset offers guidance. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Waiting for someone to choose you is the opposite of self-mastery. It's giving them control over your happiness and direction. Instead, by actively choosing to invest in yourself, you take back that power. You show through your actions that you are a complete and valuable person, with or without their presence. At this point, you might ask yourself, what if moving forward means losing them forever? But consider this. Is someone who only values you when they fear losing you truly worth having in your life? Relationships built on respect and mutual admiration thrive when both individuals are independent, not when one person's world revolves around the other. By moving forward, you're not closing the door. You're simply leaving it ajar for someone who truly values your presence. When they see you thriving, something shifts. The predictable passive person they took for granted becomes someone of intrigue. They begin to wonder, why are they smiling more? Who are they spending time with? What's brought this new spark into their life? It's not jealousy, it's realization. The realization that they might lose someone extraordinary to someone else who recognizes their worth. This awakening doesn't always lead to reconciliation, and that's okay. The goal isn't to win them back, but to rediscover yourself. A fulfilled, confident person is magnetic, not because they seek attention, but because they radiate self-worth. And when you prioritize your growth, you open yourself up to people and opportunities that align with your value. Life is too short to wait for someone to recognize your worth. Stand tall, move forward with confidence, and let your actions speak louder than words ever could. As Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Don't waste yours standing still. Embrace the journey ahead and let the world see your value through the vibrant, unstoppable life you create. Number 5. Guard your gold, the power of prioritizing your time. Time is the most precious resource we have, more valuable than gold, yet so often spent as though it's limitless. How many people do you know who invest countless hours chasing after someone who doesn't truly value them? Each passing moment spent on a one-sided pursuit is a moment you'll never get back. Stoicism reminds us that life is short and our time is irreplaceable. To waste it on someone who fails to recognize your worth is to squander the most valuable thing you possess. Seneca wisely said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Imagine holding a chest full of gold coins, each representing a day of your life. Would you throw handfuls of it into the wind for someone who barely notices its worth? Yet that's exactly what happens when you give your time and energy to someone who doesn't reciprocate or appreciate your efforts. This isn't about being cold or detached. It's about recognizing your value and treating your time with the respect it deserves. When you prioritize your time, you elevate its worth. People are drawn to those who respect themselves, who carry an air of purpose and control. In contrast, those who seem willing to give away their time freely, even to those who don't value it, are often overlooked or taken for granted. Now, you might wonder, doesn't this make me selfish? Shouldn't I be willing to give if I care about someone? The answer lies in balance. Stoicism isn't about withholding affection or support. It's about aligning your actions with your values. If your efforts are met with indifference or taken for granted, then continuing to invest in that dynamic is not an act of love, but of self-neglect. By stepping back, you're not being selfish. You're honoring the principle that your time and energy are precious and should be shared with those who genuinely value them. Think of a well. If everyone draws from it endlessly without replenishing it, the well eventually runs dry. But when its waters are respected and managed wisely, the well becomes a source of life and nourishment for all. Similarly, when you conserve your energy and direct it toward meaningful pursuits and relationships, you become a source of strength and inspiration, not just for others, but for yourself. Imagine this. You stop chasing, stop trying to prove your worth to someone who isn't receptive. Instead, you pour that energy into your passions, your growth, and the relationships that truly matter. Over time, you'll notice a shift. The person who once took your efforts for granted may begin to question their own behavior. They may start to wonder why your focus has shifted and whether they've lost something valuable. This isn't about playing games or creating jealousy. It's about embodying a stoic truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you prioritize your time and effort, you create a dynamic where others must rise to meet your standards, rather than you lowering yours to meet theirs. At this point, you might ask, what if I walk away and they never come back? The better question is, what if I stay, wasting my time on someone who doesn't value me? The reality is that your time and energy should never hinge on someone else's choices. When you invest in yourself, you attract people and opportunities that align with your worth. And those who fail to see your value, they are simply clearing the path for those who will. By treating your time as the treasure it is, you inspire others to see you as someone of value. This isn't just about gaining respect from others. It's about cultivating respect for yourself. And when you live with that sense of self-worth, you create a life where your time is spent not on chasing validation, but on building something truly meaningful. Guard your gold. Let your time reflect your value, and let those who wish to be part of your life earn the privilege of being there. In that choice lies true strength, and with it, the power to live a life of purpose and fulfillment. Number 6. Turn the tables, let them chase you. In the art of connection and relationships, the balance of power often determines how we feel and act. When you're constantly the one seeking, chasing, or craving attention, you inadvertently place yourself at a disadvantage. But what if you could shift the dynamic? What if, instead of feeling desperate for someone's approval, you became the one they couldn't help but pursue? This isn't about games or manipulation. It's about reclaiming your power, embracing self-respect, and letting them experience the urgency of valuing what they once took for granted. Stoicism offers us a profound truth. Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. The discomfort of unbalanced relationships often stems from our internal need for validation. But when you detach from this need and prioritize your own worth, the script changes. Suddenly, you're no longer the one waiting for scraps of affection. You're the one setting the standard. Imagine a beacon of light standing tall on a cliff. Ships navigate toward it, drawn by its steady glow. The light doesn't chase the ships or beg them to stay. It simply shines. Similarly, when you center yourself in self-worth, you become that beacon. People are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and independence. The key to flipping the dynamic lies in creating space. This isn't about acting cold or indifferent. It's about valuing your time and energy so much that you're willing to step back when they're not reciprocated. Picture a pendulum. If you keep pushing it forward, it resists, swinging back harder. But if you let it go, it moves naturally toward you. By creating distance, you allow them to experience the space your absence creates. At this point, you might wonder, what if they don't come back? Here's the reality. If someone doesn't recognize your value, they're not worth chasing. By stepping back, you're not losing anything. You're creating room for someone who truly appreciates you. And for those who do realize what they've lost, the space you've created forces reflection. They begin to feel the same anxiety you once did, the fear of losing someone valuable. This isn't manipulation. It's a natural consequence of showing self-respect. Think of a rare painting hanging in a gallery. People admire it because it's unique and irreplaceable. If the same painting were mass-produced and handed out for free, it would lose its allure. Your attention and presence work the same way. When you offer them sparingly and with purpose, they become valuable. When you're always available, they're taken for granted. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its ability to center us in moments of doubt. Epictetus taught, "No one is free who is not master of themselves." Mastery of self means recognizing that your worth isn't defined by someone else's attention. It's defined by your actions, your mindset, and your ability to walk away from anything that doesn't serve your growth. As the dynamic shifts, they'll begin to feel the weight of your absence. Questions will fill their mind. Why aren't you chasing anymore? Who else might be occupying your time? This sense of uncertainty creates urgency. The power they once held now rests with you. They must decide whether they're willing to rise to the challenge of earning your attention, a challenge you've set not out of spite, but out of self-respect. And here's the revelation. This shift doesn't just transform how they see you, it transforms how you see yourself. By embracing stoic detachment, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of chasing approval. You become the person who chooses their path, who commands respect without demanding it, and who radiates value simply by existing. So let them chase you. Let them experience the fear of losing something irreplaceable. And as they scramble to reclaim what they once took for granted, you'll stand firm, not as a player in their game, but as the ultimate prize, rare, irreplaceable, and worth every ounce of effort. In this, you embody the true power of Stoicism, unshakable, self-assured, and undeniably captivating. Number 7. Stop running, start thriving. The power of walking away. It's a familiar story. Someone you care about begins to pull away, and the instinct to chase after them takes over. You ask yourself what went wrong, what you can do to fix it, and how to win them back. But chasing someone who's withdrawing isn't the solution. It's a surrender. It's like a ship losing its course, drifting aimlessly toward an unsteady shore. Stoicism teaches us that our path must remain steady, rooted in our own strength, regardless of external turbulence. When you chase someone, you unknowingly hand over your power. You signal that your happiness, your self-worth, and even your identity hinge on their approval. Imagine holding a glass of water, offering it to someone only for them to refuse it. Instead of cherishing the water yourself, you beg them to take it, spilling drops in your desperation. This is what chasing looks like, a loss of dignity and self-respect in the pursuit of something that cannot be forced. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoic approach is clear. Happiness and self-worth come from within. By chasing, you tell the other person and yourself that your peace and value are external, something they control. This imbalance often pushes them further away. Desperation isn't attractive. Independence is. Now you might wonder, if I don't chase them, won't they forget about me? The reality is, chasing doesn't make them stay. It often makes them run faster. When you stop pursuing and focus on building a life that fulfills you, you create a powerful shift. It's not about playing hard to get or manipulation. It's about showing that you're a person of value who doesn't need someone else's presence to feel whole. Imagine this. You stop chasing. Instead of waiting for their validation, you turn your focus inward. You invest your time in your goals, passions, and relationships that bring genuine joy. You become like a tree with deep roots, unshaken by storms. The result? You create a natural void in their absence, a space they can't help but notice. They begin to question what has changed and why you're no longer striving for their attention. That curiosity can become a catalyst for them to reevaluate their own actions. This isn't about reverse psychology or manipulative tactics. It's about embodying self-worth and independence. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't chase ships across the sea. It stands firm, shining its light, allowing ships to navigate toward it. By staying grounded in your value, you become that lighthouse, steady, resilient, and magnetic. The question might linger in your mind, what if they never come back? But ask yourself instead, why would I chase someone who doesn't recognize my worth? Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses. You cannot control whether someone chooses to value you, but you can choose to value yourself. And when you do, you attract people who genuinely appreciate your worth. When you walk away from chasing, something profound happens. The power dynamic shifts. The person who once felt they held all the cards now sees you in a new light. Your independence makes you intriguing. Your confidence makes you desirable. You're no longer the person scrambling for their attention. You're the person who inspires it. Epictetus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." By recognizing your inherent value, you send a message that your life is full and meaningful, regardless of their involvement. And in doing so, you become someone worth pursuing, not because you've demanded it, but because you've earned it through self-respect. So stop running. Stop spilling your energy on someone who doesn't see it for the treasure it is. Instead, thrive. Build a life so rich and fulfilling that it draws others to you naturally. In doing so, you become more than someone they want. You become someone they need, someone they respect, and someone who stands tall in their own power. Number 8. Rise above. The art of elevating your value. When someone pulls away, it can feel like a blow to your self-esteem, a moment of doubt that shakes your confidence. But in the world of Stoicism, setbacks are not moments to despair, they're opportunities to grow. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The key to navigating such moments isn't to chase after someone who's withdrawing, but to look inward, reflect, and elevate your own value. True value isn't something you find in others' perceptions. It's something you cultivate within yourself. Stoicism teaches us that our worth is defined by our actions, principles, and the way we live our lives, not by the approval or attention of others. When someone distances themselves, it's not an indictment of your value, but a call to refocus your energy on what truly matters, your growth, your goals, and your potential. Imagine a tree standing tall in a storm. While the winds howl and leaves scatter, the tree doesn't chase after the falling leaves. It digs its roots deeper into the earth, drawing strength from within. You must become like that tree. Instead of letting someone else's actions dictate your sense of worth, root yourself in your own growth and purpose. When you do, you rise above the storm, unshaken and even stronger than before. You might ask, how do I elevate my value in practical terms? The answer is simple yet profound. Invest in yourself. Dive deeply into your passions, whether it's your career, hobbies, or personal projects. Set ambitious goals that challenge you and force you to grow. Pursue knowledge, fitness, or creative pursuits that add depth to your character. These aren't just distractions, they're foundations for a richer, more fulfilling life. Think of this process as polishing a diamond. Each moment you dedicate to self-improvement adds brilliance to your being, making you shine brighter. This isn't about pretending to be something you're not or seeking validation from the outside world. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, for yourself. Here's a metaphor to consider. A lighthouse doesn't dim its light when a ship sails away. It continues to shine, guiding others and standing as a beacon of strength and stability. When you focus on elevating your value, you become that lighthouse, strong, steady, and undeniably magnetic. But you might wonder, if I focus on myself, won't they forget about me? The truth is, when you dedicate yourself to growth and purpose, you become someone who's impossible to overlook. Confidence, independence, and ambition are inherently attractive traits. By embodying these qualities, you shift the dynamic. Instead of being someone waiting for attention, you become someone worth noticing, someone worth pursuing. This shift doesn't just transform how they see you, it changes how you see yourself. When you recognize your inherent worth, you no longer feel the need to chase validation. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By taking control of your growth and happiness, you reclaim your power and independence. This transformation often compels them to reconsider their own actions. They may start to question why you're no longer chasing after them, why you seem so self-assured, and what they're missing by not being part of your life. This reflection creates a powerful shift in the dynamic, making you not just desirable, but someone they actively want to reconnect with. In the end, the goal isn't to make someone chase you or manipulate their feelings. It's to embody a life of purpose and fulfillment, one that naturally draws others to you. When you prioritize your growth and elevate your value, you become someone who commands respect and admiration, not because you seek it, but because you've earned it. Rise above. Use moments of doubt as stepping stones towards self-discovery and growth. By doing so, you don't just elevate your value, you transform your entire perspective, radiating confidence and strength that no one can ignore. In that light, you become truly irresistible, not just to others, but to yourself.